o'clock.
Good morning. This is Northern Light for Tuesday, September 19th. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Todd Moe.
St. Lawrence County's Board of Legislators is reacting to reports that migrants in New York City could be sent to Messina.
I'm scared to death of seeing something like this happen. If this goes through Messina, the next place to fill will be one of that empty jail over in Ogdensburg. Watch and see.
Governor Hochul is pledging that New York will remain a safe haven for transgender children. Also, communities throughout the region are home to public art that give our towns a sense of place. We'll hear from Lynn Johnson in Lake George, who's been on a quest to map the murals of the North Country.
Yeah, I print out a picture of the mural and I paste it into the book to show that I've been to the town. And now I've got this whole, I guess you call it, scrapbook of mural pictures.
And what's that in the night sky? Astronomer Eileen O'Donoghue joins us to guide us through the morning and evening skies in September and October. All of that's coming up on Northern Light. Stick with us.
Broadcast of Northern Light here on North Country Public Radio is supported by Long Run Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor in Lake Placid, providing comprehensive wealth management, retirement, and financial planning solutions. LongRunWealth.com. And St. Lawrence Health, committed to keeping the community healthy and safe by providing vaccines for patients to strengthen their defenses. StLawrenceHealthSystem.org.
This is Northern Light. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Todd Moe. A couple of weeks ago, lawmakers in St. Lawrence County were blindsided by a report that Messina's airport is on a list of possible sites to house the migrants who have amassed in New York City. At a legislative meeting after that news broke, lawmakers passed a series of resolutions on the matter. Catherine Wheeler reports the legislators say they're being proactive.
The county's legislators don't want the migrants who are now in New York City to end up in the North Country. They say, especially with winter on the way, there aren't enough resources, and the Messina airport doesn't have the infrastructure to support that many people. Rita Curran is a legislator from Messina. She says she doesn't want people to arrive here just to be failed by the system.
The entire airport is smaller than our chambers here. It leads people to believe there's safe places for them to go. We don't have buildings. We can't take care of our own constituents here in this county. We have, I think, upwards of 150 homeless people that we're taking care of that are from here.
Legislator Joseph Lightfoot said at the meeting if migrants were placed in Messina, he worries about what other North Country locations would be next.
I'm scared to death of seeing something like this happen. I would bet you dollars to donuts, and I know you agree, that if this goes through Messina, the next place to fill will be one of that empty jail over in Ogdensburg. Watch and see. So I think it's a wise and prudent thing that we're doing to get ahead of this and show that, hey, we're not in favor of this.
The board's chair, David Forsyth, went as far as to call the migrants enemies.
The citizens have a right to be protected from all enemies. I declare these enemies. They're not here to help us.
According to the New York Times, more than 113,000 asylum seekers have come to New York City since 2022. State and city officials are still struggling to figure out what to do with them. They've repeatedly asked for federal assistance. The Messina airport first surfaced in a list obtained by CBS News, along with 10 other locations that federal officials had put together as places in New York that could house migrants. There's no indication right now that New York City, state, or federal officials intend to send migrants to Messina. The St. Lawrence County Legislature passed 3 resolutions last Monday. One opposes any executive order that could send migrants to communities in the county. They passed it even as Governor Kathy Hochul said last month she wouldn't force upstate communities to take in migrants. Stephen Button is the St. Lawrence County attorney.
The first resolution applauded the governor's desire not to do so. called on the governor to stay the course with respect to that position and not issue any executive orders. And the third prong of that resolution opposed any sort of action by the state to try to push folks here should pressure be prevailing from the city of New York.
They passed 2 additional resolutions, one that offers the county's legal services to Messina if the federal government tries to bring the migrants to the airport. The final resolution directs Button to get the county off a list that says it's a sanctuary county for immigrants. One Democrat, Potsdam lawmaker Margaret Haggard, opposed those 2 resolutions in the Republican-led chamber. Town officials in Messina say they were surprised to hear their town be considered for this, especially when they say it's not feasible for people to live at the airport. Legislator Jim Reagan says it's wrong for county officials outside of the region to make these suggestions without having fully explored if the communities are prepared.
Personally, I sort of think it's just a giant publicity stunt to get people upstate concerned and upset. And, they've succeeded.
The governor's office did not respond to a request for an update on the situation. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has said his team is continuing to evaluate the federal site list because the city is out of room. Catherine Wheeler, North Country Public Radio.
Governor Kathy Hochul says New York is trying to protect trans rights as well as the rights of other people who are LGBTQ. Hochul spoke in New York City on Monday about what she says are right-wing attacks on transgender children. Karen DeWitt reports.
Hochul, a Democrat, says some Republican governors are participating in a well-funded, coordinated effort to destroy the rights of the LGBTQ community and stoke the flames of hatred.
This as a mom is really hard. The attacks on our kids, our trans kids, particularly.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in May signed a bill banning gender-affirming health care for minors. In Texas, that state's Supreme Court in late August upheld a similar law. 17 other states, all led by GOP lawmakers, have passed some type of restriction on transgender care for children.
The fact that you are a governor of states and you still find the time to wake up every day, it's like, how can I attack the LGBTQ community? You ought to have enough to do, other governors. That's just a statement from one governor to governor. Just right here.
Hochul listed steps that New York has taken to protect those who need gender-affirming care, and she says other governors could learn from it. In late June, the governor signed a bill into law that establishes New York as a safe haven for gender-affirming care for children whose doctors determine that they need it. The measure also protects children receiving such care from being removed from their parent or guardian in New York, even if the other parent or guardian lives in a state where laws allow that. It also prohibits law enforcement from cooperating with other states where the care is banned from trying to prosecute a parent or a doctor in New York. And the state will also not cooperate with subpoenas seeking any health or related information about people who come to New York to receive gender-affirming care.
You come here. We'll protect you. We'll make sure that there are no prosecutions. No one gets sent back to your state. We'll protect the doctors, the providers, the supporters, the family, and the individuals seeking this care.
Hochul says the state is also investing in teen suicide prevention with a special focus on LGBTQ youth. And in January of this year, the state health department began permitting people the option of choosing an X for their gender on driver's licenses and birth, marriage, and death certificates. Hochul says these small changes send a big message. In Albany, I'm Karen DeWitt.
You're listening to Northern Light here on North Country Public Radio. It is 9 minutes past 8. Good morning. I'm Todd Moe.
And I'm Monica Sandreski. The equinox is coming up on Saturday. Saturn is in the evening sky, nice and bright. We've got a lot to talk about with astronomer Eileen O'Donoghue coming up in just a few minutes here on Northern Light.
Check out our underscore project on our website, ncpr.org/_, and you can hear music like this. This is the Wickmore Jazz Trio out of Plattsburgh. Northern Light is supported by Adirondack Land Trust, working with communities to protect trails and open spaces for the benefit of all. AdirondackLandTrust.org. And Fisher, Bissett, Muldowney, and McCardle, attorneys and counselors at law with offices in Malone, Tupper Lake, and Saranac Lake. 800-941-5001.
A summit steward in the Adirondack High Peaks discovered a rare alpine plant this summer. According to the Adirondack Mountain Club, dwarf willow was last documented on Algonquin Mountain in 1980. Since then, the plant has only been found on the summit of Mount Marcy. ADK steward Katie Letton found the plant while she was surveying the summit of Algonquin in mid-August. State and local environmental leaders applauded the discovery. The Adirondack Mountain Club has had summit stewards for more than 30 years and says the educational effort has led to a regrowth of alpine vegetation around the high peaks.
Warren County's public transit service can now join the Capital District Transportation Authority. Governor Hochul signed a bill approving Greater Glens Falls Transit's merger with the larger network. Officials have said the move will ensure it continues operations past this year. Assemblywoman Carrie Werner and State Senator Dan Steck sponsored the bill. Steck said in a statement, the merger will help residents who rely on mass transit by offering expanded services.
A new hiking trail to an historic fire tower near Long Lake in the Adirondacks opened last weekend. The trail up Buck Mountain is about a mile long and ends at a fire tower that was installed 90 years ago. The trail was built by Hamilton County staff as well as local volunteers. The Adirondack Mountain Club provided guidance on sustainable trail construction. A crew also rehabbed the Buck Mountain Fire Tower, which offers views of Blue Mountain and Santanoni Range and Round Pond.
The Adirondack Balloon Festival kicks off in Glens Falls this week. It's the 50th anniversary of the event, which brings an estimated 150,000 people to the area every September. Emily Russell spoke with one of the volunteer organizers of the Adirondack Balloon Festival, Aaron Coker, about what visitors can expect and what makes the event unique.
For someone who's never been to an Adirondack Balloon Festival, can you just kind of describe what it feels like to be there and watch those balloons go up?
Boy, I guess it comes from a perspective, for me as a photographer, it's a little bit of sensory overload as they all go up. And I think, for most kids especially, it's a sight that you can't really describe. It's just one of those indescribable moments of, I guess, serenity and amazement.
I read that this is the Adirondack Balloon Festival is completely volunteer organized. Is that true? And how is that possible?
We wonder how that's possible every day. Yeah, in reality, it's 10 or 15 of us planning throughout the year, in this case, even part of last year, to put this on. We're all, as you said, volunteers. We all have family and jobs, but we put aside what we can to make this event happen. I think each one of us understands the impact of the community this has, and there's not a lot of free events, especially this magnitude. So to keep that tradition alive for locals and non-locals is very important to us.
Why are you involved, and what makes the Adirondack Balloon Festival so special to you personally?
Well, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I've been involved for 10 years. My involvement was kind of to get her involved in realizing what a community is and what volunteering can do to make changes, not only in people's lives, but where you live, and also not to take things for granted. So having her grow up, not only going to the festival, but actually helping out during the event too. She's on the media team, so she helps us with social media and anything really we ask her to do. Apparel, she's folding clothes. So just to get her involved in an event, that means a lot to the community.
Can you just kind of describe what will be special about this year in terms of the 50th anniversary of the festival?
Yeah, we've added an extra day, which would be Wednesday the 20th, and we're having a gala event at Highland Park Country Club in Queensbury. and that's to celebrate a lot of the pioneer pilots. So we have a lot of original pilots coming from the early 70s who will be recognized, as well as some longtime sponsors who have supported the event. And without sponsorships from the community, there's really no way we could put this event on.
I wonder why you think it draws so many people, why the festival is so popular to the area.
Well, it's free, and there's nothing like it. I mean, there's the Cambridge Balloon Festival, which is a lot smaller, and I think it becomes a tradition for families to come to something free and something outdoors they could bring their kids to. And this is one of the few festivals where you can actually walk up really close to a balloon. A lot of the other events are kind of roped off. So you can walk up to a pilot and, and take a look up into the envelope of a balloon and ask questions about, well, how does this work?
Yeah, tell me about some of the special balloons and where the pilots are coming from for this year.
Our major balloonist is named Andrew Hawley. He's coming from Great Britain, and he first started coming 4 or 5 years ago, and I think he fell in love with the event because it's so much different from the larger, more commercialized balloon festivals in the U.S. And he's bringing a panther balloon and 3 penguins and a koala. He's got some really, really unique shapes. And we'll also have a happy birthday balloon to celebrate our birthday. And it's a pretty big balloon.
That was Adirondack Balloon Festival organizer Aaron Reed Coker speaking with Emily Russell. The festival is celebrating its 50th anniversary this week. There's a gala Wednesday night, a parade in Glens Falls on Thursday, and then the balloons begin to fly from Floyd Bennett Memorial Airport in Queensbury from Friday afternoon through Sunday.
So we've been talking a lot lately about our NCPR mural map project. You can find the map on our website, ncpr.org/mural map. To make the map, we asked you to tell us about the public art in your neighborhood, then put those suggestions on a map. Most folks sent in 1 or 2 photos, but Lynn Johnson sent in over a dozen. Turns out she's been on a sort of mural mapping quest of her own since 2015. Amy Feiereisel has our story.
58-year-old Lynn Johnson has lived in Lake George since 2000.
But, like everybody, I've been coming up here since I was a kid.
Johnson camped with her family all over the Adirondacks when she was a child. Her grandparents had a summer place in Warrensburg. So she knows this area well. But back in 2015, she wanted to know it better.
It started because of a book, the Adirondack 102 Club, and it's called Your Passport and Guide to the North Country.
The book encourages you to visit 102 towns and villages in the Adirondacks.
And to document your travels, you're supposed to go around the town and, either take pictures or you go to the post office. And I started noticing a lot of towns had these beautiful murals.
She started noticing murals everywhere, and she'd photograph them.
I print out a picture of the mural and I paste it into the book to show that I've been to the town. And now I've got this whole, I guess you call it, scrapbook of mural pictures.
So when she heard the call out for the NCPR mural map, she had lots of ideas. Johnson says she really admires the artists who paint and make murals for the beauty of their designs and the scale that they work at. She particularly loves a mural in Plattsburgh of Jean Arthur, the movie star.
It's just massive, and it's just beautiful. I just love it.
She has a huge soft spot for the North Creek mosaic. People in that community worked on it tile by tile for over a decade.
We ski at Gore every year, so you pass to go into town and take a look at the mosaic, see how it's doing.
And she also makes note of smaller murals in post offices and restaurants, like one inside a pizza place called The Pizza Shop in Warrensburg.
It has the picture of Janis Joplin, Gandhi, and Nikola Tesla. That one, I just think just putting those 3 people together in one mural like that.
She says she loves the creativity of that triptych. Johnson says she has no particular artistic talent herself.
But no, I have no artistic ability at all.
But that might be part of why she loves seeking out public artwork. 8 years later, Johnson says she's made it to about half of the communities listed in the Adirondack 102 Club book. So she's got plenty more to tackle. Amy Feiereisel, North Country Public Radio.
And if you've got a piece of public artwork to add to the mural map, text the word mural, MURAL, to 315-978-6277 and check out the mural map online at ncpr.org/mural map.
You're listening to Northern Lights right here on North Country Public Radio. I'm Todd Moe.
And I'm Monica Sandreski. Coming up in just a minute, we check in with astronomer Eileen O'Donoghue about what to look for in the evening and morning skies. Then stick around after the show for Bird Note coming up at 8:42. First, Todd has a look at the weather for us.
Clouds today and some scattered rain showers, winds out of the southwest, and highs in the 60s for much of the region, lows in the 40s overnight tonight. And then clearing skies tomorrow. And on Thursday and Friday, the Weather Service says partly to mostly sunny skies, highs upper 60s, near 70 the next few days. We've got showers and 56 degrees in Canton right now. So today, probably not the best for seeing the planets and the stars, but maybe
it's clearing up.
It's clearing up.
It's going to clear up. Yes, every time it's cloudy, we know it will get clear again.
Yeah, that's right. Eileen O'Donoghue teaches astronomy at St. Lawrence University and stops by every month to talk about the morning and evening skies. And we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening
so much
this
going
week.
On. Yes. So the sun is going to crash through the equator. And that'll happen.
It does that every fall, right?
Yes, it does that every fall, and then it crashes back in the spring. So so it's going to do that. It's going to move south of the equator at 2:50 a.m. on Saturday morning, and we will. We're noticing that as it crosses the equator at the equinox, we gain dark at the fastest rate of the
gaining night,
year.
you say. Gaining night.
You're like a kid in a candy store here, Eileen.
You can see the stars again. And so that's exciting. That morning, Mercury in the morning sky will be at its highest. I mean, it's only about 12 degrees above the horizon. So, but
this Saturday?
Mercury is, Saturday morning. Mercury is elusive. And so, if you want to get up for the first day of Gregorian fall, you can do that. So
maybe that was the reason they named it Mercury, because it's so elusive and zips around. Yeah, okay, right, Mercury.
And that's still on your bucket list, Todd, for planets to see. That's yours that you haven't seen yet?
And I'm used to getting up by 6:30, so that's where I'll be Saturday morning.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then, now tell us about an event next month, this partial eclipse.
Yes, on October 14th, Saturday, from about 12:10 in the afternoon to almost 2:30, we will have a partial eclipse of the sun. In the western U.S. and across Central America, it's an annular eclipse. Now, we were close to the center of one of these in 1994. And so some of us remember that event. And the annular eclipse happens when the moon is at apogee. It's farthest from Earth. Remember, in August, we had the supermoon. The full moon was the supermoon because it was at perigee. It was its closest to Earth. Now the moon is its farthest distance, so it's not quite big enough to cover the sun. And so if I were back in Albuquerque, I'd be at the Whole Foods parking lot on Academy Boulevard, because that's right in the center. But they'll only have 94% of the sun covered, so there'll be a ring of fire around the outside. But it's still an exciting event. Not nearly as exciting as our event next April.
Oh, yeah.
Which we'll be, talking about more and more and more. But for this eclipse, my colleague Jeff Miller sent me photos of eclipse glasses available at Kinney's. So,
oh, that's great. For this Saturday?
Yes. Well, they were available in Potsdam. So, Yeah, and, get them for this Saturday. They'll still be good next April as long as you take care of them. Don't stick them in the glove box or something, but and beat them up. But that'll be a good use of your eclipse glasses. Also, since all the leaves are still on the trees, most of them will still be on in October. You'll get to see underneath the trees all these images of the eclipsed sun, because the little gaps between the leaves that the sun shines through acts like little pinhole cameras. Also, if you have a colander in your kitchen, all right, if you hold it up, you can get all these little images of the eclipsed sun. So there's a lot of fun to be had.
A mosaic of little. So
it won't be a crescent sun, but
no need to take the cardboard and make the pinhole camera.
Well, you can if you want to be formal about it, but there are other ways to do that.
Cool.
You can even do it with your hand. Make a little tiny hole between your index finger and thumb.
Yeah,
and you can get good at projecting an image of the sun. So that's going to be very exciting and a nice kind of dress rehearsal for April.
Oh,
right. Don't throw the don't throw the eclipse glasses away. Yeah,
no. Put them in someplace safe so they don't get scratched up, in case you don't want to use them if there's a scratch.
All those ideas of the colander, the leaves are making my inner fifth grader go nuts right now. That's
it's
great.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
So I want to talk for just a moment about the morning sky, because I have been following Venus into work every morning.
It's glorious. Yes, really Venus, and then on the other side of the sky, over in the western sky, is Jupiter. And Jupiter actually pops up in the evening sky after about 8 or 9. I can't remember. I thought I wrote the
9.
And so Jupiter you can see in the morning and evening, but in the morning it's high and bright. Yes, and you were just asking about that this morning. I mean, Venus is just blazing. You have to wear shades. I mean, not eclipse glasses.
No, but it's bright. Seriously, it looks like an airplane or something. That's great. And then you'd look to the right of that, and then off to the southwest, and that's where you see Jupiter.
Right, right. And so they're both pretty, and then Mercury will be up this Saturday. In the evening, we do have Saturn. It's hanging out in Aquarius, and there are not a whole bunch of bright stars in that area. It's kind of by itself, blazing away. And so it was at opposition. That is, it was opposite the sun on August 27th. And when it's opposite the sun, that's when it's closest to us in our sky, because that means we're both on the same side of the solar system. And so that's as close as we get. And so that's why Saturn is so pretty. If you have a small telescope, you might be able to see the rings. So, it's just a lovely sight. And seeing the rings with your own eyes is just like, it looks fake. People look through it, and then small children will look at it through the telescope and then go around to the other side and look for the picture.
Yeah, there's like a sticker of it.
Not just small children. I remember doing that as a college student, thinking, wait, is that a photo or is that actually what I'm seeing?
You can't believe it's actually real.
Yeah.
And so this Friday, it's looking like it'll be clear. They will... hope they will be open at the Adirondack Public Observatory. Maybe you can go there, or the Adirondack Sky Center Observatory. Sorry, I'm not quite into the new name yet. But go down to Tupper Lake, look through the telescopes. And on the day of the eclipse, October 14, I and my colleague Jeff and our eclipse ambassadors will be set up with telescopes near the St. Lawrence University Quad.
This Saturday.
Yeah, not this Saturday.
Not this
Saturday, the 14th of October.
Right.
So you can look through a telescope there and enjoy the event. We'll have, kind of some snacks and stuff available.
All right.
And I got to attest, too, to the Adirondack Sky Center Observatory. I didn't tell you this. I went a couple of weeks ago, and it was during practically a full moon, so it was so bright, but we got to see Saturn.
Yes.
Yeah, they had one of the telescopes. It was so beautiful. It was so gorgeous. And even the telescope that was pointed at the moon, it was just starting to wane, and right there on that shadow, you could just see all the details of the moon. It was quite a sight.
It's awesome.
Yes, I'd encourage people to go.
Pop on down to Tuppa.
Thanks, Eileen. Always good to have you.
It's always fun.
And that's it for Northern Light for this Tuesday, the 19th of September. Don't worry, Eileen will be back next month to talk more about the stars and the eclipses and those sorts of things. I'm Todd Moe.
And I'm Monica Sandreski. Be well.